From WTOC, the Southeast news leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Welcome to The News on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley. Savannah police have made an arrest in connection with an armed carjacking at a restaurant yesterday. 41-year-old Donald Palmer Jr. was arrested after a woman says she was held at gunpoint and had her car stolen outside of Nancy's Seafood on West Bay Street. Officers arrived on scene around 4:40 yesterday. Police searched the area and found the stolen car driving on Bullock Street. They followed the car until it hit a curb. After a foot chase, officers did arrest Palmer. He's been charged with hijacking a motor vehicle, aggravated assault, and interference with government property. And in the Low Country, the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office is investigating after shots were fired on Ladies Island last night. It happened on Colony Gardens Road near Harbor One Apartments. Now, when deputies arrived, they found the apartment had been hit with gunfire. There were no reported injuries at this time, but the case is still under investigation. Anyone with information should call the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. Well, 2025 was a very busy year in Savannah. Violent crime is just one topic that's been on everyone's minds, including Mayor Van Johnson's. There have been 27 reported homicides so far this year in Savannah. That is 2 more compared to this time last year. Looking back, WTOC has covered some major violent crimes, including the Oglethorpe Mall shooting in July, as well as the recent acid attack near Forsyth Park earlier this month. Our Cam McCann sat down with Mayor Johnson to review the year and what's to come in the future as we close out 2025.
One of the things that you've tried to hammer home, especially these last couple weeks and months, is the violent crimes down on the whole in Savannah. Can you kind of talk about why you think that is and what concrete steps you guys have taken to bring down violent crime in Savannah?
Well, I mean, not why I think, why our statistics say that they are. And again, I think it's a variety of a couple of things, the things that we can control. So what can we control? We can control our police presence and our police interactions. We can control our access and use of technology. We can control our beats and how we respond to areas of known crime in a very intelligent way. We can address those issues. We can prevent young people from being involved in crime and violent crime by giving them alternatives. I'm still out here buying guns from people because I'd rather the gun be in my hands than to be in the hands of somebody who can use them.
Turning now to state news, 3 violent criminals who escaped from the DeKalb County Jail are now back in custody. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office confirmed their recaptures just after 1:30 a.m. this morning. Now, officials just gave an update on capturing the inmates, saying all 3 were captured in Miami, Florida. They're currently being held in Florida while they wait to be transported back to DeKalb County. Officials also revealed more details about the inmates' escape plan. The Sheriff's Office say they discovered the inmates missing late Sunday night during a security check. Authorities reviewed recorded phone calls by the inmates and found that one of them had contacted a man identified as Christopher Thompson to pick them up after they escaped. Thompson then drove the inmates to one of their girlfriend's house where they ordered a Lyft. The U.S. Marshal's Office says the inmates allegedly kidnapped the Lyft driver and forced the driver to take them to a location in Florida. As for how they escaped, the Sheriff's Office did not go into detail, mentioning the inmates were able to compromise the aging jail's infrastructure.
My primary focus is to make sure that you all know that the DeKalb County Jail is secure. We're not going to sit here and go back and forth and point blame. We're going to focus on what can we do to stop it from happening in the future. We're going to be asking for things to assist us with this aging facility that's deteriorating right before our eyes.
Authorities did not say when the inmates will be brought back to DeKalb County. They do face multiple charges, including kidnapping. One of them has been, Thompson, I should say, has also been arrested and is now charged with assisting those inmates. Turning now to national news, overnight, the Department of Justice released an additional 10,000 documents related to the investigation of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The latest batch of materials offers new details on the financier's associates, including President Donald Trump. Olivia Rinaldi has the latest from the White House.
Newly released documents include court records, emails, news clippings, photos, and hundreds of video files. One Justice Department email says then private citizen Donald Trump flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane many more times than had previously been known. According to the email, Trump is listed as a passenger on at least 8 flights between 1993 and 1996, including at least 4 that co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell was on board. The email also notes Trump flew on 2 occasions with women described as potential witnesses in a potential Maxwell case. In a likely already public criminal complaint filed against Jeffrey Epstein's estate in 2020, a Jane Doe alleges that when she was 14 in the mid-90s, Epstein introduced her to Trump at Mar-a-Lago. It's important to note that President Trump has never been charged in connection with Epstein and has tried to distance himself from him. And there's no criminal wrongdoing alleged in these newly released files. The Justice Department released a statement saying some of the documents in Tuesday's release contain untrue and sensationalist claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election.
I actually threw him out of Mar-a-Lago.
On Monday, President Trump once again accused Democrats of using the Epstein controversy as a distraction.
What this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has.
By law, the DOJ had a Friday deadline to make public all of its Epstein files, but so far has done just a partial release, claiming it needs more time to protect sensitive victim information. Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News, the White House.
Well, back here at home, the Savannah Ghost Pirates players, along with the rest of the ECHL League, could be heading for a strike by the end of the week. That's according to the union representing those players. The Professional Hockey Players Association announced yesterday that its ECHL membership served a strike notice effective December 26th after players voted on that strike last Friday. Now, here's a statement that the union put out citing health and safety issues. Is saying this: many players have shared that they feel disrespected, undervalued, and taken for granted. As of today, after reviewing the league's most recent response, there have been no meaningful movement forward toward a fair solution. Now, the league did respond. We have that quote here, outlining their latest offer to players and saying in part, quote, "We believe the players would much prefer to continue playing and supporting the fans and communities we serve while we work through negotiations. WTOC will continue to follow this story as Friday's strike deadline quickly approaches." Turning now to health news, St. Joseph's Candler has enacted visitor restrictions due to the increasing number of flu cases across our area. Visitors have to wear a mask if they have not been vaccinated for the flu or if they have symptoms of respiratory illness. Those under the age of 18 are not allowed to visit patients unless you're a primary caregiver. And if you feel sick or have symptoms, don't visit patients. The hospital system says the goal there is to protect patients and staff as the area sees that increase in flu cases.
When we hit a baseline of 3.4% of visits that are influenza related for 2 weeks in a row, we implement visitor restrictions. The reason being there's a lot of influenza floating in the community, and we want to try to keep it out of the hospital for the protection of the patients and the staff that are here.
The hospital adds these types of flu restrictions are common during this time of year, and the restrictions will lift once there's a drop in regional flu cases, which is usually around March or April. And staying in health news, the FDA has approved the first prescription pill for weight loss with the same medicine as GLP-1 medications you inject into your body. The new pills are expected to be available in just a couple of weeks. About 1 in 8 Americans say they take a GLP-1 drug to lose weight, and these pills are likely to make those drugs even more popular. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John Lapuk has more.
Dr. Chris Mertens was a high school and college athlete, but during his medical training, he gained 60 pounds.
I was also seeing effects with things like my blood pressure, with one of my doctors telling me I might need to start medicine for my blood pressure because it was getting high enough, as well as cholesterol being elevated.
After struggling to lose weight, he heard about a clinical trial for Novo Nordisk's weight loss pill. Over about 8 months, he lost 40 pounds.
It was a great option, especially when I know I had tried to do things what people may term the right way, with diet and exercise alone.
In a New England Journal of Medicine study, all trial participants received counseling on diet and exercise. After about 15 months, patients lost on average 13.6% of their body weight on medication, compared to 2.2% on placebo. The pill must be taken on an empty stomach. Dr. Reshmi Srinath is the director of the Weight and Metabolism Management Program at Mount Sinai.
Do you have patients who can afford it through insurance or privately, but who say, look, I don't want to give myself a shot?
For patients who are seeking care for weight management, there are patients who are very opposed to injecting themselves.
For many patients, affordability remains an issue.
I do think that having an oral option would be really helpful, one for improving access, but also as another tool that we can offer patients.
After the trial ended, Dr. Mertens lost access to the pill and started to regain weight. He's now on an injectable medication.
It's not something that should be considered a dirty shortcut. It's something that, again, with more and more evidence showing it has benefit for not only losing weight, but helping treat so many other conditions that are downhill from obesity.
Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
All right, well, we want to take a moment and take a look at some live traffic cams right here. Right now, we're looking in the Low Country in South Carolina on the I-95 as I move this map around. It's moving fairly smooth. We have one crash just south of Ridgeland and then another crash a little north of Hardeeville. We did see one camera right here. This is a live camera off of I-95. There is quite a bit of backup right here, so just heads up if you are planning on traveling maybe north for some holiday visitations for family or friends, you might be slowed down just a little bit. Again, you can see these patches of red kind of throughout I-95 as you get through the Low Country just north of the state line. So something to watch out for, again, during this very busy holiday travel season. And speaking of the holidays, what Christmas would be complete without a message from Santa Claus? And this is pretty big news. Brian Unger thinks he found the real Saint Nick right here in Georgia, and we all think he's pretty special. Take a look at this.
I have reindeer, and I have elves, and I have presents. Do you like presents?
If you doubt he exists or stopped believing altogether, there's a Santa in Atlanta who just might restore your faith in something bigger than a man in a red suit.
Look at that.
For 15 years, Santa Rick, last name Claus, naturally, has been, well, Santa Claus. Every button, belt, and boot, from the smallest detail to the most enduring mysteries, he is a masterclass in Santaology.
Santa has to have a house in every single city in the world so he can hide out and check the naughty and nice list. And here you see my office.
His office looks less like a workshop and more like a corporate outpost on the North Pole.
The reindeer team is gearing up for Santa's Christmas sleigh ride.
Presiding over a Santa syndicate, the National Santa Agency, the other NSA. And Santa Rick even has the explanation for one of Christmas's most enduring questions. How can there be more than one Santa in one place at one time? The answer?
These are true Claus family members.
Santas are all related.
Say presents.
While deliveries are coordinated at the North Pole, where elves still do most of the heavy lifting, this Atlanta Santa is preparing for the big day.
You have no idea how hard it is to be me.
So now we go back and I check in any space that I haven't done already. I go ahead and do that.
And sometimes Santa needs a little help from the 313 Salon. Marion Crowell and Tony Lacey are the salon's co-owners.
It's a difficult job, you know. You have to be sure to get everywhere, underneath, all of their hair. None of it can be, looked over.
Even the eyebrows.
Even the eyebrows.
We have to primp and prepare ourselves. We have more hair products, and we have to do all kinds of things, even if we have a white beard.
Yes, it's hard being Santa, but for Rick, it was a lot harder becoming Santa.
In 2011, both of Santa Rick's parents died within 18 days of each other. Rick, who is Jewish, in a display of grief, as is a tradition, did not shave for 30 days and grew a beard, a very bushy white beard.
And I was at Home Depot. This little boy he was probably 6 or 7, called me Santa. And I had my epiphany that I just needed to be a Claus member all year long. And this little boy, he changed my life.
Since that day, Rick has never stopped being Santa, even while battling cancer, not once, but twice.
And I think it certainly helps me to be very empathetic.
His own mortal experiences have made the meaning of the man behind the suit something pretty extraordinary.
Imagination and hope are, in my opinion, the cornerstone of humanity and what the Claus family and Christmas bring out in this world.
Imagination and hope, gifts too big to fit down a chimney or under a tree.
Well, and finally, someone in Georgia just got an early Christmas gift this morning. One ticket sold in the Peach State matched 5 numbers, meaning that person won $1 million. So check your ticket right now because it could be you. The winning numbers are 3, 18, 36, 41, 54, and the Powerball was number 7. No one won the jackpot yet, so the next drawing is tomorrow night on Christmas Eve. The jackpot has now climbed to $1.7 billion. All right, and with that, we are going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We'll be back in just about 45 minutes for another round of stories at the top of the hour at 2 o'clock. And in the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to catch the latest stories at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.